Hey guys, and welcome to Pixel Cherry Ninja's channel. In this video today, we are having a look at the MiSTer FPGA 94 MHz overclocked core going up against the Analogue 3D. Now, the Analogue 3D is updated to the latest firmware, which is version 1.2.0, and the version of the core that we are using on the MiSTer FPGA, I am using the latest version of the unstable MiSTer operating system with the latest revision of the 94 MHz core by Korn, which was released yesterday. Well, I'm not sure when this video is going out, but I am filming this on the 1st of February 2026, and the MiSTer core was released on the 31st of January 2026. So guys, remember, this is just a bit of fun. I can honestly tell you that playing these games, both systems are fantastic. I've enjoyed the MiSTer FPGA for a long time, and running stuff on the Analogue 3D, I have to say that generally the Unleash mode in the general sense is better. It performs a little bit better than the MiSTer, but hey, it does have an FPGA in there that is twice the power essentially. It has a bigger FPGA. It's locked down, it's not open source like the MiSTer project, so you can't really tap it, you can't really mess around with it. But here is Perfect Dark, and what's really interesting about this is there's a ROM hack that's available that gives you this overlay that you can turn off and on by tapping the L button. Massive props out to Boogerman, who actually told me about this and put me onto this hack. He said, yo, Pixel, next time you do something, maybe you want to try this hack. And I'd already filmed Perfect Dark, and it was more a case of the way I did the GoldenEye one. Have a look at it. Which one do you like the look of? Which one do you prefer? But with an overlay like this, I'm not going to say anything. You guys can pause it. You guys can look at the numbers. Now, I tried to make the gameplay the same, but once I get kind of past this office part, I kind of go into a different area. On the Analogue 3D, I go to like a less crowded part, and on the MiSTer, I go right to the bottom where you kind of end this mission. I also have to say that, guys, as much as these versions are great to play, the Nintendo 64, in my opinion, didn't do 3D too well. It had low frame rates. It kind of struggled. It wanted to achieve more than it was capable of, and it's nice to get these options where we overclock the core, or on the Analogue, the overclock is called Unleash, which is really like the biggest or the fastest overclock it has. Now, the Unleash is supposed to be unstable, but in my experience, when I'm testing stuff on there, I haven't tested every game out there, but I have done a few live streams, Unleashed works really well. So, I mean, it is completely up to you. If you have a MiSTer FPGA, then you've got a good version of the Nintendo 64 core. It is a fantastic core. I've been enjoying it for the last 2 years, and there's no reason to stop enjoying it. Now, if you're a big Nintendo 64 fan and that is like your favorite retro console, then the Analogue 3D does generally do things better. With Perfect Dark, from what I could see, it was quite close, but if I had to give it to one, again, it would be the Analogue 3D, but the Analogue 3D is running on a bigger FPGA. The MiSTer is just absolutely amazing. I mean, what people are getting out of the MiSTer, just the N64 core in and of itself. Then Robert Pape, the developer, released an 80 MHz overclock core. Then Korn jumps in 94 MHz. Now, the 94 MHz core isn't supposed to replace the 80 MHz core. There's essentially 3 cores that you're using for the MiSTer FPGA for the Nintendo 64. The normal core, the 80 MHz, and the 94 MHz. Now, you can try different ones. You may get better performance from one than you will on the other. It's completely up to you how you play it. But I would recommend anyone that grew up playing the Nintendo 64, if it's your favorite console, then it's well worth getting an Analogue 3D. It really is a good experience. I'm not the biggest fan of the Nintendo 64, but when I do play it, I am like quite awed with the performance that the Analogue 3D gives. But if you're not the biggest, if N64 isn't your favorite console and you're like me, you're more from the SNES, the Mega Drive era, you like CPS1, CPS2, Neo Geo, you know, that kind of era of arcades, then in my opinion, the MiSTer's absolutely fine. It scratches that itch, and in most cases, it does perform better than the Nintendo 64 original hardware. And guys, if you get a Nintendo 64, I recently got one of my buddy Chris, and what I did was I connected it via an upscaler, and you know, the video quality is terrible on that. When you're adding it to modern displays, it really isn't that good. You remember it better in your head. When you look at it now, you'll be like, wow, is this what I was into? The MiSTer has a really good, like what we're looking at over here is the clean HDMI output, and it does look absolutely fantastic. The Analogue 3D does it really good. Also, just want to mention that I have upscaled the MiSTer to 4K using a Morph4K upscaler. I just want it to look as close to the Analogue 3D. I don't want to run one at 1080p and one at 4K, and I don't want to run the Analogue 3D at 1080p closer to that of the MiSTer. So I've used like an upscaler well, to upscale. But guys, this is it. It's just a little bit of fun. Don't take this as gospel. This is just for you to make up your own mind. The stats are up there. I'm running it as best as I can. The Analogue has unleashed mode on, and it also has the new progressive scan on. The MiSTer has clean HDMI on. Apart from that, everything else is left at default. But that's it, guys. Gonna end this video. If you like this kind of content, then hey, consider subscribing to the channel. If you love this kind of content, then press the like button, turn on those notification bells. It really does help out. Anyway, guys, be freaking awesome to one another. This is Pixel Cherry Ninja out.